Alright, so looks like we've now gone back onto the Switch version of Mario Kart 8. So hopefully we can able to actually show you guys off the final 4 things we'd like to able to show off for the sake of the films of almost to conclude the entire Let's Play of the actual Mario Kart 8 game. So, hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sylvester the Cat here, and I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and we are back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos of course. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Let's Play of Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Wii U / Nintendo Switch. So, last weekend or something like that, is that we did manage to show off the battle mode on the Wii U version, and that particular version throughout, well, as far as the actual battle mode itself goes, I'm just honestly not a big fan of, because, well, obviously because we're actually going to be driving around in the actual normal tracks, and to deal with the actual just only the balloon battle to begin with, but aside from everything else though, yeah, that's all I can say. So today for this episode, alongside with tomorrow's video, is that we're definitely coming back onto Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to show off the Switch version's battle mode. And as you can tell, it makes it a little bit more of a traditional style of battle mode if you remember from the past. So even then though, not only do we get ourselves balloon battle ever since on the Wii U version, but in addition with the balloon battle, we also have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 whole modes in the entire battle mode, which I think is actually pretty big in comparison to the forms of the previous games for sure, but at least compared to Mario Kart Double Dash though, it does manage to have ourselves, 3 battle modes as far as I'm aware. So those are the battle modes we're going to be getting for the Switch version, which there are obviously Balloon Battle, which is self-explanatory, and also Coin Runners ever since in Mario Kart Wii / Mario Kart 7. In addition to that though, we also managed to bring back those 2 familiar modes ever since in Mario Kart Double Dash, which there are Shine Thief as well as Bob-omb Blast. And the new one to the lineup is Renegade Roundup, in this case by the forms of police and cops and all that stuff. So even then though, or robbers and coppers for if you really want to be more precise on that. So, for the majority of the battle mode on the Switch version, let's go ahead and select one of those Inklings and stuff. Stuff like Inkling Boy, for instance. So that way we can able to actually just, try him out on the actual battle modes to begin with, as well as the actual game itself, despite the fact that we have not done a singular Splatoon Let's Play for quite a long time now, because of, obviously the Powerpuff Girls keeps on holding up for that specific Let's Play back in the day, during 2017, but I don't know if there's any chance that we can able to do the actual recording setup for specific matters. So anyway though, so as you can see, you have a choice between, Balloon Battle, Shine Thief, Bob-omb Blast, Coin Runners, as well as Renegade Roundup. So even then, you can either choose those battle modes, or you can able to go for Random Battle, which I will say this right now, this is without doubt the best battle mode in the entire Mario Kart series period, at least in my opinion, because even then, not only does you able to actually get yourselves tons of modes to your disposal, but it's also the fact that it's actually really fun. But we'll point things out whenever we get to it. So for the first part on battle mode, for the sake of this weekend, we'll go through no teams, and then when we get to tomorrow, which should be the first day of December tomorrow, so even then, and we'll show off the team battles as soon as we're able to get to those. So these are the battle courses you're going to be playing through on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe specifically. No need to able to drive onto the normal tracks. Instead, we got ourselves not 3, well, usually we got ourselves 5 normal battle courses and 3 retro ones. So in grand total there are about 8 of them. So even then though, a little bit smaller, or in this case a little bit mixed in terms of the amount of those battle courses, but I don't mind about it too much, because even then, compared to Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart 7, both of those games managed to have themselves likely 6, battle courses, probably due to the handheld's limitations, but, you probably get the idea. So the first battle course we're going to be showing off is, of course, the actual traditional battle stadium. So even then, it feels very similar to the forms of the Mario Kart Stadium, except, well, it now takes place in well, specifically on the battle course. And second is that it takes place in daytime as opposed to nighttime. So, and of course, the actual mode is to kick things off where we're able to actually introduce something new here. We have Renegade Roundup. So even then, you have a choice between those two different teams. One, you can able to actually catch the robbery, or you can able to get away from them. So even then, at the moment right now, we are getting a hell away from those piranha plants, basically. And basically, the ultimate goal for this is the fact that in each team, well, one of the teams can able to catch them, or even just manage to let the other team get away, and then able to actually end off the game. So even then, though, and if you couldn't tell already, since we did manage to get caught ourselves into the actual piranha plants, as you can see right there. In order to actually just break free from the actual cage to begin with, is that obviously we do need to able to. Yoshi, you betray us. That was a really terrific start right there. Especially because that most of these computer players, despite we on setting those up on hard mode, basically they are in hard mode. So even then, although they just don't do anything at all. So even then, though, that's a terrific start. But nonetheless, though, let's move on to Sweet Sweet Kingdom, which is basically the secondary Sweet Sweet Canyon from the actual racetrack. But this time around, though, it takes place on a battle course. So pretty cool though, especially because of the fact that I'm so appreciated about the fact that I think that when I see this as the announcement trailer for the forms of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I was expecting this might be exactly the same thing as the Wii U version. Oh yeah, speaking of such, let's get into the actual main differences between the Wii U version of Balloon Battle compared to the forms of the Switch version. Is that, as you can see, we now start this off by simply having 5 balloons as opposed to 3. And also the biggest difference is the fact that now we have a timer on the top right corner, and plus we now got ourselves our double item slot. So even then though, that makes the item balance system can be pretty sporadic and all that stuff. So even then though, and also if you can tell, you start the actual match off by simply getting yourselves 0 points to start off with, which is always appreciation. And right here, we got ourselves the exclusive item on battle mode, specifically on the Switch version, which as you can see, we got ourselves the returning item from Super Mario Kart, which appears to be the Cape Feather, or just Feather to be more precise, Sonic. Oh yeah, exactly. And what that does is that this allows you to able to jump over for those little, bottomless pits, or in this case, in this game, you can able to actually just pop anyone else's balloons when you jump in midair. So even then, though, definitely a little bit of a handy item if you really want to get away from those computer players, as you can tell. So even then, though, that should be a pretty pleasant surprise all in all. And also, that ever since in Super Mario 3D World, on the Wii U version that is, specifically if you're in the lead at the moment during the battle mode, it doesn't matter what mode you're in, every now and then now is the fact that some of these players are actually now wearing a crown, at least if you're in first place or something. So, and also, unlike the Wii U version, is that if one of your balloons get all popped, the game will automatically be over on the Wii U version, but now that's not the case this time around on the Switch version, just to make it a little bit more of a traditional style from the likes of Mario Kart Wii, as well as Mario Kart 7. So even then, because I'm pretty sure the Wii U version might actually act out very similar to Super Mario Kart 64, as well as Super Mario Kart, and even Mario Kart Double Dash, that, and especially noticeable with Mario Kart DS as well, that in those games essentially, if all of your balloons have been popped up, you'll be pretty much out of the game, and then you will transform into yourselves into your ghosty variation. So even then though, that's one way to put it, but even then though, that's as far from the case for this particular version this time around. So even then, not much else to really talk about, apart from the fact that according to today's upload, is that today stays the forms of, well, I would say today is the final day of November for this point today. But until when we get to the point until tomorrow's video, son of a biscuit, Rosalina! And yeah, every time whenever you are out at the actual thing itself right there, obviously the most nerve-wracking part about this is that you lose half of your points every time you out. So, or in this case for this particular, is the fact that if all of your balloons will be all popped up, and then basically you'll be able to respawn where you were. So, yeah, definitely get a while to get used to with this though, because obviously we're more used to with the previous balloon battles ever since in Mario Kart DS. Despite the fact that in Mario Kart DS, that you start off with just one balloon, but if you actually use the select button or the microphone essentially, then you can able to actually blimp up more balloons. Or in this case, for this method though, you can only carry up to 5 balloons. Well, at least 3 during gameplay. But if you manage to waste about 1 balloon in particular, then you can able to create another one. So even then, that's as far from the case I'm assuming for this matter. So, but I'm truly sorry about the actual dialogue for this point, guys, because I know for the fact that it's been such a long while since we did manage to able to discuss upon some new stuff. Well, apart from the fact that Mario has already mentioned about, you know, specific recent news during the forms of the newer releases coming out in 2020. Specifically, the Devil May Cry 3 HD version will about to be now finally coming onto the Nintendo Switch. But yeah, that's as far from in particular. So, anyways, the next battle mode we're going to be playing through is the, of course, coin runners, as you can see right there. Nothing particularly that changed or anything like that, aside from the fact that it plays pretty much exactly the same as you remember from Mario Kart Wii, as well as Mario Kart 7. But the biggest difference is this time around is that, if I remember correctly, that in Mario Kart Wii, or potentially speaking, in Mario Kart Wii, you can able to actually carry the insane amount of coins, if you want to say so. Whilst the forms of Mario Kart 7, I think you're actually going to be carrying a certain amount, specifically 10 of them. But in this game, you can able to actually do the same thing for how it does in Mario Kart Wii. At least I was expecting so. Well, if depending on the forms of the AI, of course. So, we have not much else to really say about this here. And as you can see, we're now going to be driving on to the next new battle course, and that appears to be by the forms of Dragon Palace. So even then though, which is basically it's like the battle course version of Dragon Drift Way from the actual racetrack itself. So even then, the biggest difference is there is that obviously it takes place in daytime as opposed to sunset. So it still feels likely a Chinese vibe, so even then though, I really don't mind about this at all. In fact, the biggest difference is we'd like to point things out is the fact that since during the forms of, you know, in the forms of Mario Kart DS as well as Mario Kart Wii, and even Mario Kart 7 as a result, we were originally trying to able to actually just to show you guys off with you know, the halfway or the 50% in between. Let's just, how do you describe it, Sylvester? Oh, for the majority of the actual likely in a battle mode, we were going to be saving up for 50% in free-for-all battle in one of those battles, and then in the actual other 50% for team battle, but with another battle. But the thing is, in this game, is the fact that there are about, you know, 5 of those battle modes in this particular version of the game. Not one, unlike the forms of the Wii U version, which, to the actual things itself credit for, is the fact that, well, at least in the Wii U version, might did something a little bit different, but at least I'm very glad that we're actually coming back into a traditional battle mode from ever since during the past. So even then, though, that makes it a little bit obvious for that point. So, but then again, if you manage to able to use one of your items and stuff like that, and as you can see, we actually got ourselves 25 coins so far. I think this is actually the best battle course to able to actually grind for more coins, assuming if you try to avoid a lot of those opponents. So even then though, if you manage to know what you're doing, then you were able to actually just manage to get the insane amount of coins. So, top notch that is. Yeah, I could assuming so, Sonic. So yeah, obviously today's day is the forms of the 30th of November, in this case in 2019. Speaking of such, it will be the final day of November entering in 2019. So even then though, until tomorrow, and also around the same time as we're going to be doing the team battle video at this point tomorrow, that we can definitely expect it, we can able to, well, head on to the final month of the entirety of 2019, which should be December, which even then we'll point that out during tomorrow, as we said this before. But for right now though, let's head on to Lunar Colony, which appears to be the actual space battle course. And this time we get ourselves probably my favorite battle mode in the whole entire game, and that appears to be the returning mode from Mario Kart Double Dash, and that is Bob-omb Blast. Oh man, I'm very glad this mode makes a comeback, because even then, I actually do still enjoy it in Mario Kart Double Dash, but every now and then now, is the fact that without the forms of 2 players in one kart, I just realized about something about the fact that how much chaos this is, because, well, not only do we get ourselves likely 12 players as opposed to 4, because the only thing is with the forms of the older Mario Kart games is that in order to actually play battle mode is that you always have to require multiplayer so that you can able to actually get a full experience on battle mode in general. But that's not the case here for the forms of Mario Kart DS, and especially noticeable with Mario Kart Wii, and even Mario Kart 7, and even Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because you can now able to actually experience battle modes with these computer players. So even then, that makes it pretty obvious for that point, because I'm pretty sure it's probably because of how the fact that, wow, I just don't know what else do I need to say about it here. So, basically, that much like the forms of balloon battle, is that, well, obviously you do have balloons at your disposal, likely 5 of them, and much like in the forms of balloon battle, is that if every time you're able to get your balloons all 0 on your health disposal, because these balloons act out as health, basically. So even then, much like in balloon battle, is that you lose half of your points every time you're able to get knocked out or something. And just like the forms of balloon battle, specifically in this version in particular, that you will go back onto the actual continuation of the battle. It's nothing like how it did on the Wii U version, where basically, every time when you run out of your balloons, the game automatically ends until if you move on to the next round or something. So, but even then, though, let's just say this right now, is the fact that I'm pursuing the actual length of certain battles and stuff like that go a hell of a lot more funner, and especially noticeable in a very, very balanced length compared to the forms of somewhat in shorter lengths in certain matches for sure. But even then, this is probably due to how the fact that we always set these computer players on hard mode and stuff like that. So, but you get the idea for this point, Sylvester. And I think for the entirety of this battle course, as you can see right there, it's entirely into anti-gravity, because obviously we're on the actual the moon, of course, and stuff like that. It's actually pretty cool though, because even then, we haven't got the space-themed, the space-themed battle course ever since in Mario Kart DS, where you're able to drive around in the actual Nintendo DS console. And same applies for, specifically the Nintendo GameCube from the likes of Mario Kart Double Dash, where you can simply drive around on top of the GameCube surface, which I think is actually very unique. But it's kind of a shame, though, about the fact that they don't usually bring back some of these battle courses based off from Nintendo's consoles this time around. So even then, there's no Nintendo Wii battle course that you can drive around on top of the side of the Nintendo Wii console system, as well as the 3DS, because I'm pretty sure it's more likely the equivalent to the Nintendo DS battle course or something. So, I don't know about the Switch, though, or the Wii U, but then again, though, it's just a little bit of a different story. And here we go on to the last new battle course, as you can see right there, and it appears to be by the forms of Urchin Underpass, which is actually inspired by the Splatoon game. Which is pretty cool though, because even then, this is a prime example about the fact that we're going to be playing as one of those Inklings, as you can see right there. Specifically, the Inkling Boy. And also, we actually come across into ourselves the final battle mode in the entirety of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to show off. And that is, of course, the returning mode from Super Mario Kart? Mario Kart Double Dash, and it appears to be by the forms of Shine Thief, which, unlike the forms of how it does it on Mario Kart Double Dash, where basically, every time you grab the Shine Sprite, as you can see right there, you get yourselves like a whole minute to able to keep a hold it up. But then, unlike in this game this time around though, you're able to actually just grab the actual Shine Sprite, and the timer actually starts at 20 seconds. So, protectively speaking, if you manage to hold the actual Shine Sprite for a long period of time until it reaches to 0, the game automatically— Whoa! Whoa! Jeez Louise, man! That almost trying to hit me! Oh jeez, I wonder who's able to almost hit us. Well, I don't know for sure, because even then though, because I'm pretty sure one of those computer players managed to use the Starman, as far as I can say. But regardless of such, we pretty much dominated, basically. So, now let's move on to the retro battle courses now. So, to begin with, we have ourselves Battle Course 1 from Super Mario Kart. So, even then, obviously it's going to take place in the forms of, sort of a similar environment, as in Donut Plains and stuff like that. So, even then, though, because of that, though, there's not much else to really say with, Battle Course 1. It's just a very simple, battle course, would you believe it. So, I think we did manage to get ourselves Battle Course number 4 from the likes of Mario Kart Wii from that's returning. I don't know about you, Sylvester, I really don't know. But anyways, we now return back into Renegade Roundup, and this time we can now able to capture those opponents. So even then, because basically what that is the fact that obviously we need to capture those, well, certain teammates in the forms of the opposing team. So, the main factor about this mode, though, is the fact that this cannot be played in during forms of, well, specifically in free-for-all, because it always has to be forced to be able to deal with the team battle, which I don't mind about this too much, though, because even then, though, it's actually pretty cool as the actual, the new battle mode type. But, however, though, I'm not usually good at it, though, well, unless if you're really trying to able to do some sort of a sneaky trick by simply able to be blocking the actual key switch until when the opposite team will come over, and then boom, you just get munched and we simply win for glorious. Yeah, because that was actually a pretty cool trick to able to perform if you really want to compete in harder computer players, but for multiplayer though, it will be incredibly cheating if I were you. Yeah, I know that. So anyways, let's move on to the next retro battle course, as you can see right there, which is the returning battle course ever since in Mario Kart Double Dash, and that appears to be Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, which is a good thing about the fact that recently Luigi's Mansion 3 just recently came out and during, I would say a month ago right now, despite we haven't got back into it yet because we're still in the halfway point of the game so far in our own time. But even then, though, we'll have to wait and see what happens there until whenever we, hopefully with Mario we're able to finish up with Super Mario Odyssey and stuff like that. So, once that's been sorted, though, then we can get back into, Luigi's Mansion 3. So that way we can able to actually complete that game as well. So, depending on the forms of how long that game can be, in fact, it's actually way more longer than the forms of how it does it on the first game and the second game and stuff like that. And even in addition with the 3DS remake, if you really want to count that. So, yeah, basically, it just managed to heavily borrows the actual remakes music from the likes of Mario Kart DS variation of Luigi's Mansion, which I'm fine with, because even then, though, despite the fact that we've already got Luigi's Mansion Racetrack in Mario Kart 7, and then most recently, Mario Kart Tour. In fact, speaking of Mario Kart Tour, actually, is the fact that we're now on to, in part 2, where it comes to the Winter Tour and stuff like that. Well, Mario has already mentioned about this before, since yesterday. But, seems more accurately, though, Sylvester, is the fact that the actual, microtransaction pipe is actually going to be rewards us as the actual Pink Gold Peach, which we're definitely not going to get her, just because, well, she doesn't make that much sense to me. Yeah, because I have no idea why she makes a comeback, though. Yeah, we're still going on about it, though. But luckily, though, until likely next week or so, we're actually going to be able to come across into a different tour, which I don't know exactly what the next tour is going to be, but we'll find out and see what happens there in during forms of, let's just say, during, well, specifically the final weekend specifically for this uploading schedule, because even then, after we focus the Nintendo Switch version of Mario Kart 8's Battle Mode, then we can able to show off the online features and all that stuff, and that will be about it when it comes to the forms of our Let's Play of Mario Kart 8. So, yeah, it's pretty cool though, and yeah, much like the forms of how it does it in, I would say, in Mario Kart Double Dash and DS and even Wii 7, and especially noticeable with the original Mario Kart 8 is that yet again, if you use the mushroom at this right moment, then you can able to once again steal anyone else's balloons in front of you. So, yeah, that's probably far from the case for this point, so even then though, that's how it usually goes. So, but then again, I do apologize with the actual lack of commentary and stuff like that though, but hopefully when we get to the forms of specifically when it gets to December, or maybe in this case, for Mario's case, whenever he's going back into Luigi's Bloom World, so that way he can able to conclude, what no tarnation is going on around here? We just managed to get smacked by, or in this case just got munched, rather, by that potted piranha plant. Well, that's just plain ridiculous. And I don't know who got the crown at the moment though, but I'm pretty sure it might actually have to be Roy Cooper right here. So hopefully we can survive this. Come on, and oh, nice. We got 10 balloons. Yay, how glorious was that? And I think the actual award ceremony for this version of Mario Kart 8 might be a little bit different compared to the Wii U version, because if you manage to finish up with the balloon battle, or in this case the battle mode in the Wii U version, the only reward you can get is that particular same trophy as you remember from the versus race mode. But that's no longer going to be the case on the Deluxe version this time around, because you'll see why until we show off the final battle course in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that appears to be the returning battle course from Mario Kart 7, which is Wuhu Town from, well, obviously Mario Kart 7. The biggest obvious difference is that obviously in the HD visuals, and second of all is that it takes place in daytime as opposed to nighttime. So, and the actual battle course itself, or the battle rules we're going to be come across into, is the coin runners. So even then though, let's go ahead and grab some more coins, and, well, we might as well figure just as that. And then eventually at this point until tomorrow, Sonic, is the fact that we'll eventually try to show off the team battle, and then the biggest difference is now that we can able to actually just go ahead and, you know, just trying to able to go for the actual courses backwards. So even then though, starting from this, all the way to the very end in Battle Stadium. So that'll be about it. So, yeah, there's not much else we're really trying to able to point things out for this point, Sylvester, so... Oh yeah, apart from the fact that likely until 2 days' time, is the fact that we're actually going to be getting ourselves Angry Birds 2, the movie, as far as I like to say, as well as the Playmobil the movie DVDs, rather, are about to be releasing on exactly the same day, which... Why did Playmobil the movie exist? Really? I mean, literally speaking though, Sonic, is the fact that, well, obviously that particular film does have its pretty negative reviews, just because it's more likely a rip-off of the Lego movie, because, well, I understand that because of how the fact that most other people appreciated about the actual animation quality from the Lego movie, because compared to Playmobil the movie, the actual usage of the animation is actually by the forms of computer generated, as opposed to stop motions and stuff like that, which I know we've seen these kinds of animations plenty of times before, but I'm just probably trying to say to you something, because even then though, I'm just pretty much not a big, huge fanatic rather, when it comes to Playmobil itself. Well, we used to back in the day, from as a kid, childhood memory, but every now and then now is the fact that since Lego was so unique by everybody, but even then though, because of how the fact that I don't really think that it wasn't pretty much necessary to have the movie version made out of like Playmobil and stuff like that, which even then though, that's just for my personal opinion and all that stuff, so that's not much else to discuss. So I suppose the final thing I'd like to say is the fact that, you know, with the actual alarm thing, whenever you're trying to able to get the timer reaches to the forms of the actual almost there point, that normally in the Wii U version, that's the actual jingle goes like do 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 do, meaning on the Wii U version that when the timer reaches to 30 seconds, but this time around though, on the Deluxe version, it's now a minute, so means you got a plethora of time until the actual battle itself, or the match rather, to be finished, so I can at least appreciate about that. So, and also because of how the fact that, well, I'm very glad that we're actually coming back into this though, because even then though, that still, this is without a doubt one of my favorite battle modes in the entire Mario Kart game. At least for the majority of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because not only can you able to experience 5 different battle modes, as you can tell, but also you can able to take it on the go, if you manage to like it or something. So, and yeah, this is the reward ceremony you can get, and that is the forms of that special crown. So, a little bit different as a reward, but even then though, it's a nice little crown nonetheless. So even then though, and I think that's pretty much about it when it comes to that though. So, Yeah, I guess we'll pretty much get things off here for this point, don't you think, Sonic? Well, let's just have a look at this particular crown first before we're able to actually end this off. In fact, it looks really beautiful looking. Yeah, especially because of how the fact that this is on the Nintendo Switch, of course. So, yeah, you probably get the idea for that. So, I guess we'll end things off here. So, join us tomorrow for more of Let's Play of Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Is the fact that we're going back into battle mode on the Switch version again. But, except this time around, though, we'll be showing off for the majority of team battles this time around. So, it makes it a little bit more variety on there. So, see you guys then.